Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amelia, and I am your speaker for the next hour. I would like to start this presentation first by thanking the NAEC for once again giving me the opportunity of sharing my thoughts with you. Giving a voice to the new generation is one of the things I enjoy and like the most about this industry. We are a big but small family at the same time, and organizations like the NAEC are always making sure that we stick together, that we move forward, but in the right direction. When I first did my presentation, this one at the Fall Convention in Reno, Nevada, I had this amazing idea of presenting in a natural way, just going with the flow, no script, just confidence in the topic I was going to present, and a lot of positive energy from my friends in the industry. It went great, and I was like, this was amazing. I'm glad I didn't take any notes or plan for this. I mean, it's not like I am doing this presentation again, right? But here I am, and how can you say no to the NAEC? I am not a fan of virtual meetings. I like being face-to-face so I can interact with the public and have a sense of the audience. So please help me out by reacting and writing in the chat, just sending emojis, whatever works for you. I would just like to feel like I am actually speaking to someone and not just sitting in my office talking to the screen by myself. Okay, so let's do this. I am an electrical engineer, as John said, by profession. I finished my degree back in Dominican Republic in Santo Domingo about 10 years ago. And as soon as I was done, I started working for electrical contractors in my country. My career started as an estimator and budget analyst for huge electrical projects, including electrical transmission, distribution, and general electrical service. But a little after that, I started doing project management for the same projects I was estimating. 5 years ago, when I had the opportunity to come to the United States, my dream was to continue doing this, which translates to being an engineer or project manager at Con Edison, for example. But thankfully, the elevator industry caught me as soon as I landed. 2018, as you all know, was a pretty rough year with the door lock monitoring code coming to New York City. And a small elevator contractor in the Bronx needed my help, but just for a few months, right? With prints, drawings, and door lock monitoring design. This goes without saying, but I was not able to leave this industry, and I became kind of an elevator junkie. Smaller independent contractors like the one I worked for the first time are great for learning this industry. And in my opinion, 1 year at an independent small contractor translates to 3 years at an OEM. Because in a heartbeat, I was managing new installation, modernization, repairing projects, supporting service, doing filing and compliance, dispatching, doing billing, and everything in the book. A couple of years ago, I started working for Dynasty Elevator in New York City, doing exactly the same, but the only difference was that my boss started taking me to all of these company presentations, client meetings, networking events, NAEC conventions for sure, and educational conferences. He realized my potential and how I got along with people. So for a full year, he was trying hard to convince me to transition into the sales department. I didn't like sales at all. That was not my background, as you can see. And I had no experience or education in it. I usually like structure and processes in place, so I can guarantee like the outcomes and have control of everything I do. So it took him a while for me to take this job. He didn't record this in Reno when I said it, but this webinar is going to be recorded and available for him to replay it and listen to me saying, John, you were right, I am really good in sales. But I didn't realize this at the beginning. So I came into the sales world with a critical eye. I am very observant, and since I had a lot of relationships within the industry, I did not hesitate to ask for advice, for personal experiences, for the best sales methods and tactics, and just like general advice on how to navigate this new environment for me. I did get a lot of motivation and positive feedback, but as well, I noticed some of the negatives. All the opinions and conversations that I was having changed depending on the age of the salesperson I was talking to, the amount of years they had in the elevator industry, how well their relationship was with their manager, and as well the general dynamic of the company they were working for. I am here today to share these findings with you, and my main goal is for you all to leave this call reflecting on the future of the elevator industry, which is the next generation of elevator people, and as well see what can we all do individually and as a team to improve the quality of elevator professionals who will eventually take over the responsibility of the vertical transportation. This is the agenda for today. We are going to talk about the generational gap in the elevator industry, focusing on elevator contractors, suppliers, and elevator consultants. The difference in how the new generation and the senior generation are currently handling sales, how do they approach their prospective customers, how do they network, how they do marketing, and how they utilize social media and technology to their benefit. As well, we are going to cover the sales experience asymmetry between the two generations through the whole presentation, since this is one of the main points of conflict that I encountered while doing my research. We're going to talk about continued education and how business owners investing in their company's professionals can help with employee retention while at the same time making businesses succeed and go to the next level. While preparing for this presentation, I talked to and interviewed a little bit over 100 industry professionals. 42% of them were between 24 years old and 44 years old, and the rest were 45 years old or older. And for all of those subjects that are here in this webinar, I would like to say thank you for your time and for sharing your knowledge. Those conversations actually helped me gather a lot of data that it's key to tackling the lack of harmony and discordance between these two groups of people. I do not consider myself a sales professional yet, but I do have the privilege of knowing and having close relationships with the best salespeople in the elevator industry. It is an open secret that the elevator industry has a concerning generational gap. I mean, I am not here to say that you're either a newborn or a geriatric patient, but most of the top players and decision makers in the business are leaning towards the older side of the scale. And you would say, yes, of course, Amelia, this is because they have many years in the industry. It is natural for them to be above everyone else. And you youngsters, you will eventually catch up, right? But all of these top players have some things in common that the next generation won't have, even with the same amount of years of experience. First, the senior generation understands relationship building better than anyone else. Since at the beginning of their careers, they didn't have the same technological help that we do right now. As well, they look at the elevator industry as their career, not just a job. Statistically, they struggled way more to be successful when they started in the business. It wasn't handed to them. So essentially, they do have a tougher personality in their profession, and they do not have that need of validation that the young generation has. As well, most of them have field or technical experience, which is always a plus. And they are all passionate about this. They have passion for the elevator industry. Most young people who are getting into the elevator industry are fresh out of college, and if they do have an engineering background, they mostly get hired into project management, if it's an elevator contractor or consultant, or they get hired in engineering, design, or technical support if it's a supplier. Unlike getting hired into sales, that as per all of the open positions and job descriptions I found on the internet nationally, elevator sales experience is always preferred, but it's never required. The elevator mechanics that do know the product hardly want to switch to the office because, I mean, let's be honest, the benefits and the salary will never be as good. I've had sales conversations with both older and younger professionals, and the only thing they seem to have in common is they always seem to complain about each other. And I cannot blame them. I mean, it's tough to get along with someone you see every day at work who is 15 or 30 years older or younger than you. We have different values, we lack shared experiences and historic events. We do not even have the same music taste. Young professionals find their company processes outdated. Older professionals tell me that young people, we are too spoiled, we want things done easily and handed to us. Those were the kind of conversations that helped me create the questions for my interview. Just the interest to see how both sides of the scale see the different parts of the selling process. We're going to start easy with some data analysis so we have a better understanding of my findings and how I am going to present them. Cold calling and knocking on doors is a pretty tough sell. I mean, you have to go through many layers to get to the decision maker, but at the same time, you never know when you might catch someone at the right time who needs your help or your product. For cold calling and knocking on doors, here are the answers of my subjects. I asked them, do you cold call or knock on doors? And 74% of the young professionals said no, they do not do it. But 65% of the senior professionals said they do. When I asked them, do you think these methods, do you like them, that approach to sell to customers, to approach prospective customers? 86% of the emerging professionals said no, they do not like it. But the senior professionals were pretty positive about it. Yes, they still do it and they do like them. So of course, since it was like pretty opposite, I wanted to ask and dig in to the young professionals why you do not like it. And their answers were, I prefer working with existing customers. That was a top popular answer. The second one, you only get one shot, meaning that they give a first impression on that cold call or showing up to an office, and it's pretty hard to change it once you screw it up. And the last one, which is the most interesting to me, it's I do not like being cold called, meaning that they're putting themselves in their customers, prospective customers' shoes, and they're like, I hate being cold called, so why would I do that to another person? Unlike the senior professionals that when I asked, why do you like it? They said, cold calling and knocking on doors puts the client on the spot. And as well, you get the human side, meaning since you catch them by surprise and they were not prepared, you get the human side and not the business one. So it's easier to get the pain points. It's easier to crack them. It's easier to have a natural conversation with them since they are not as prepared as someone who already has a meeting set. And the last one, and the most interesting one for me, was I enjoy the challenge. The senior generation, most of them like to go out there. They like convincing people. They like changing people's mind. They like explaining why their product is better and how can they help people. For these ones specifically, there's one side that definitely doesn't have the right attitude, which is the new generation. And I am not saying that cold calling is great because I hate it too, but those are not the right reasons. We shouldn't expect to get the highest ranking member of a company in a single cold call or door knocking. The people you see or talk at the office or a building, they do know the right person and will eventually or could eventually help you up the ladder. It doesn't have to be an actual cold call. I mean, with technology nowadays, we can Google the companies, we can Google the manager names, we can guess their email addresses, we can send them a LinkedIn message, or even we can even know how their offices look and how the team looks if they posted a picture at a holiday party, for example. And that naturally gives us like more confidence in doing it because we're already a little bit prepared. Of course, you will always get more work from your existing clients and their references, but if your company requires it, you can help yourself a little. Now let's go to networking. When I asked the younger professionals if they are active in the networking world, they said yes, 65% of them. And 55% of the senior professional said yes, they're as well active in the networking. When I asked them if networking has helped them with sales, the younger professionals, 85% of them said yes, networking is doing good to me, it's helping me with sales. But the senior leaders were saying, 75% of them, that it doesn't help them at all. This was a little confusing to me, seeing that they do it, the same amount of people and range, but at the same time, a group is being helped and the other one doesn't think it's helping at all. So I wanted to ask them, what can your company do to take advantage of it? Or what can you change? How would you take advantage of networking way more? The younger professionals said that they would like management to share their connections and relationship as well with them, and as well to be prepared before attending a networking event. When I asked the senior leaders what can their company do to take advantage and improve the networking, they said, well, I would like management to confirm if it's worth my time. And as well, they would like their attendees to be rotated. They wouldn't like to go every single time. So here on the networking part, we can identify a lot of opportunity. Younger professionals have the energy to go out and actually enjoy networking, but they feel like they are a little bit left out since their company's veterans, let's say like that, already know everyone at these events, and they do not challenge them to make a new connection or generate a new lead. They mostly feel like they participate there just to show face or fill out the spot. But the older generation, I mean, you can see it here. They're just exhausted and tired of networking. They already know the event organizers, the charities, the food menu, the bar location, and the whole agenda of the event. So it almost feels like they just go to say hi to the people they always see there. So the common ground would be send your younger professionals out there, but train them first. Let them know, where am I going? What is the purpose of me being there? Why is it beneficial for me to attend? Who are the top players that are going to attend the event? Maybe the older generation already has pretty strong connections and relationship, but you never know what kind of opportunities you're missing by not introducing your relationships to the younger, energetic professionals. Now let's go to social media and marketing and see how we did here. In this digital age, social media and professional media like LinkedIn has changed the way businesses connect with their audience. I mean, it has become a powerful tool for sales and marketing. It helps companies reach a global audience, build their brand, drive sales like never before. So neglecting social media in today's business landscape has a lot of consequences, not only for organizations, but as well to individuals seeking leads and opportunities as well. Through strategy, marketing campaigns, and engaging content, as you can see on LinkedIn, companies can use social media to their benefit by promoting their products or services. So failing to establish an online presence is taking them from the opportunity of growth and just having way more sales. Social media shouldn't be underestimated at all, but let's take a look at what the younger generation and senior generation have to say about this. When I asked the younger ones, do you get leads through social media? 85% of them said yes. But shockingly, 90% of the senior leaders said no, they do not get any leads there. When I asked them, has social media or professional media has helped you with your clients' relationships, just like maintaining an existing client for them, like looking at your content or sharing something or posting a comment? 80% of the emerging professionals said yes, but 80% of the senior leaders said no. When I asked the young professionals if they think social media is a key factor for selling, 90% of them said yes, but 75% of the senior generation said no. In this case, the senior generation did not respond very positive about it. And I heard this a couple of times during my interviews. They were saying some things like, people who has my money are not wasting their time scrolling and looking at pictures. But the younger generation told me and mentioned that there's a lot of property managers, account managers, elevator contractors, and on the younger side of the scales, and they are actively using social and professional media. They are scrolling, and they are decision makers too. So what better way to engage with them than through social media that we all share? Now let's talk about CRM softwares. We're going into a little bit of technology here for the new generation. Customer relationship management programs, I cannot stress this enough. They're changing the way salespeople work. I mean, we still have a lot of outdated lead tracking systems in the elevator industry, and we need to leverage technology to our benefit. Notebooks, putting business cards in your pocket and then washing those pants and never see them again, saving a contact and then forgetting the name, trusting your memory when you promise that person over a few weeks, oh, I'm gonna call you Monday morning first thing, and then you just forget about it. I heard all of these issues during my interviews, and we have to make it stop. CRMs help us to improve lead management because with just a few clicks, you can track, categorize, organize everything about your leads. This ensures that no potential customer gets neglected. It eliminates the need for manual record keeping, as we are doing a lot nowadays, and it decreases the chances of neglecting customers and missing out on great sales opportunities. At the same time, it's a smooth sales process because all of the customer data, including contact information, communication history, can be stored and accessed pretty easily. It has efficient task management because you get reminders, notification, and no task or call is forgotten. You're always going to be reminded of having to call a client, follow up on this proposal, do this and this, like just to get the leads taken care of in time. It has data-driven insights, all of them. With CRM software, salespeople can access real-time data and behavior of their customers. So with these performance metrics, you can strategize and change your approach accordingly. And as well, collaboration and communication. We can share information, update each other between salespeople, leading to increased teamwork and at the same time, better customer service, because it's never good when a client calls the office and, for example, I am on vacation and my colleague cannot let them know what's the status of a proposal, or when, or the office do not know when was the last time I spoke to that person. When I asked, this is pretty concerning and depressing, but I asked this to my subjects, all of them. It was so bad, the results, that I need to put them together. Does your company have softwares in place for CRM? And if they do, how often do you use them? Only 14% of them said yes, I do have CRM softwares in place and I do use them. Like I take advantage of it and I make the most of it. 25% of them do have it. They have installed it in their computer. They have been trained to use it, but they do not use it regularly. They do not update it. And they only do it maybe 2 days or 1 day or the same day of the sales meeting. That's when they update it. So they're not taking like the full benefit of it. They're not using it at all. 61% of them, concerning 61% of them, have no CRMs in place. So with all of these great tools that technology and the age is bringing, we need to change this. Like, we have amazing salespeople in the elevator industry. We all know this. But just imagine if we all had that extra help that we are missing. Imagine where we can all go individually and as companies as well. Continuing on this line, this is what the advanced generation that I was talking to thinks about us younger professionals. These are the most popular answers I got when I asked them, what are the positive qualities we have as new generation? They said, we are pretty good in technology. We are pretty good in social media. We have a critical eye. We have time management proficiency. We have memory retention. We learn pretty fast, and we have a growth mindset, meaning that we are aggressive, we are ambitious, we have drive, and we are highly energetic. I mean, that wasn't bad, right? It makes me feel pretty good about myself as a young professional. Now, let's get to the juicy part. When I asked them what are the negatives, I needed to add more circles to this slideshow because it was so many things that they said. So please bear with me while I read it. They're saying that we are easily distracted, that we prioritize digital interactions over face-to-face. They say that we have a technology dependency. They say that we have short job terms, meaning that if we do not get a raise and promotion in 2 years, we're out. We want to change. We are pretty insecure. We take rejection personally. Remember what I said about the senior generation being like way more tougher and do not seek constant validation like us? That adds to that. We are used to instant gratification. We seek constant validation. See, Jones, I saw that on the chat. We get bored with routine and we need constant stimulation. Of course, that was tough to hear, but I didn't let them trash us just like that. It was pretty unfair, and I needed to make them reflect a little bit on themselves. And I asked, what are the recommendations you have for the younger generation so we can change this? And this is what they had to say. We need to know that success goes beyond hard work and positive attitude. This is not going to be enough. We need to invest our free time wisely and be present. We need to ask for help consistently. We need to embrace challenges for personal growth. Effective communication is key. Always know that failure is a learning opportunity. Remember that every professional starts in experience, so do not get discouraged. Understand your market. That's know your product. That's pretty important. Recognize and appreciate seniority and experience. Like, please have some respect. Prioritize active listening over speaking. And this one is really important. Understand that trusting senior professionals is natural, not discriminatory. I had a lot of complaints of my younger scale that they feel like a client sometimes wants to go with an older looking person or more experienced looking person instead of them because they look pretty young, they do not have beard, they look pretty inexperienced, even if they do have sales experience. And they are trying to explain us as a senior generation that this is natural. I mean, they are going to give their money to a good company, but at the same time to a person who seems like they know what they're doing. Now we're going to flip the coin. When I asked the younger side of my subjects, what are the positive qualities of the senior generation? This is what they had to say. They are experienced, meaning they understand customers' pain points and product differentiation. They have an established reputation. They are structured. They relate to a broad market, meaning they can have one-on-one conversations and have similar experiences that most of the prospective customers. And as well, they have field experience, which I actually confirmed with most of my senior professionals, men, women, if they have 20, 25, 30 years plus in the business, most of them would say 90% they have field or technical experience. Now, when I ask them what are the cons of the senior generation, tell me some of the negatives. They said that the senior generation is pretty reluctant, resistant to change. So they do not like to adopt new systems. They are attached to traditional sales methods. Remember, cold calling, knocking on doors, paper logs. They prioritize comfort as well. They micromanage. They have evident signs of exhaustion, and they have a huge ego. I'm pretty happy that this is virtual now, because when I said that on the in-person presentation, the audience went a little aggressive and wild. No, just kidding. They actually liked it and were laughing a little bit. I asked them, the younger generation, what can we recommend to the older generation for them to change this and help them out a little bit? And this is what they had to say. Blend traditional and modern methods for better engagement, meaning that you do not need to do a 180 flip. You can just have a little help of the technology. It doesn't have to be as that you're going to change your sales methods 100%. Just like, let us help you. Use technology and social media to gain an edge before reaching out. We know you love cold calling and knocking on doors, but maybe a LinkedIn post or a Facebook picture can help you see what are the pain points, or maybe what are the activities your prospective customers like to do. Maybe if they like fishing, if they like golfing, if they are family oriented, you can gain that edge before approaching them. We know you're short and you have your confidence, but get a little help of technology as well. Tailor and adapt sales approach to each prospect, meaning do not approach a 25-year-old decision maker or a 35-year-old decision maker the same way you approach a 60, 65-year-old. Embrace their insights and be receptive to feedback, meaning we are pretty observant and we look at you from the outside. So if you would open up a little bit more, maybe we could help you. As well as stay updated with emerging technologies. Do not hesitate to seek guidance, meaning that we understand technology is pretty hard to understand. It's a lot, but as well as we need you, you could use us. Come to us, let us know, how do I do this? How do I start a call in Zoom? Like, do not be hesitant to change just because you're scared to ask. And the most important one, spark our love for the industry. We understand that the senior generation, they see this with passion, the elevator industry, but would you please do us the favors of showing us, why do you like this industry so much? What made you fall in love with elevators? Show us the way, take us to the field, let us know your story. If you are a second, third generation of elevator people, let us know, because most of the times you say that the younger generation are looking at this just like as a job to make money, but at the same time, we are missing and lacking that guidance and inspiration from the senior generation. Now, let's talk about continued education. I asked my younger professionals if they got any sales-specific training when they started their sales career in the elevator industry. 86% of them said no, they didn't get any sales-specific training. When I asked, does your company offer to pay for training or education? 100% of them said yes. Every company in the elevator industry offers to pay for training or education, 100% of my subject. And when I asked, have you taken any paid training or education? That was a pretty shocking to me, because 73% of them said no, while at the same time, they were telling me that it was available to them, but they didn't take it. When I asked my younger professionals, do you understand fully the product that you're selling? And remember that this is for contractors, consultants, and suppliers. So it's not the same product. Do you fully understand what you're selling? 37% of them said, yes, I do understand my product. 38% of them said, I know what my product is, but I do not feel confident 100%. I couldn't have a fluent conversation in the product that I'm selling. And 25% of them have no idea of how an elevator works or what an elevator is. So we can see that most of us do not fully understand the product that we're selling. Most of us do not get any training when we first start the job, but at some point it is available to us if we want to. But we might get a little discouraged because we do not have the time to sit and learn, or maybe we are too afraid to ask our supervisors to pay for our training. So we just follow the lead, follow each other's steps until we kind of understand the product. Just imagine with these answers, how many young professionals are out there just faking it until they make it. We are lacking on both sides, in my opinion. And as mentioned before, one of the advices that the advanced generation gave us was to use our free time. So why are we not going the extra mile to get education? As well, Why are companies not enforcing product-related training to salespeople? And of course, I am going to say this because even if I haven't found the time to finish it, the NAEC offers the Vertical Transportation Management Program, which would be a great help to anyone in the industry just to help them understand elevators. And of course, if you have a supervisor willing to help you out, answering questions and taking you to the field, because if you do it by yourself without no help, it's like you're reading another language. If you're a young professional interested in knowing your product more, do not be afraid to ask your company to pay for it. Even reach out to the NAEC and they can send them a letter or a communication just saying that you showed a little interest in that program and they would be willing to pay for it. And as well, managers that are here, if you have salespeople under you, encourage them to take it. But most importantly, make sure they finish it by putting them on a timeline or a time limit and saying, for example, if you do not finish it in 8 months, then you have to pay for it. That's the kind of pressure I actually need to finish my program because I do not play about my money. Now that we're talking about supervisors, managers, and their sales teams, let's see what the younger subjects had to say when I asked, what do you see in the best salesperson of your team? What do they have? What makes them successful? They said, they are experienced. They have technical knowledge. As well, the best salesperson in the team has strong relationships. They are passionate, they are confident, and they communicate constantly. Those were all the factors that my subjects gave me. So I wanted to share it with all of you just in case you need a little bit more of encouragement and guidance on that area. When I asked my younger professionals, what can your manager do to help you improve your sales? They said, I would like more training and mentoring. I would like more processes and procedures created, not just going with the flow. I would like the implementation of programs for tracking and follow-ups. This was way before that I was going to talk about the CRMs, but this is exactly why I wanted to talk about it, because most of the younger people were complaining about it. So I wanted to add it to the presentation. We would like some automatization with letters and reports generation. So the customers receive a standard report or format, even if it's another person sending them, just standardized invoices, proposals, everything. Just make it one single archive, one single format for everyone in the company. Inclusion of young professionals in networking. That's exactly why I spoke about networking as well, because most of the younger people say that they would like to participate as well and improve their sales tactics by having and making stronger relationships. When I asked the younger professionals, what current sales methods in your company you find outdated? They said cold calling and knocking on doors, but those two we are going to eliminate right away because we know now that we're just lazy and we just don't like calling people. Now, customer support. This came from the vendor supplier side of my subjects. They would like the customer support to be a little bit more digitalized for customers to not be neglected and for the customer support team to be able to reach them in a timely manner so they do not complain about it. And as well, the paper record, that has to go. We are in the digital era, all of those paper copies, I mean, that one, I fully agree that we need to change. And I say that publicly. You can catch me later for that, but paper record has to go. When I said, do you have the authority? Listen, this one, I would like to pause here because it's a little tricky. Thank you, Mike. This is a question I created after I interviewed a good amount of subjects. I didn't ask this question to all of them because they were all complaining about it. So I created afterwards. It says, do you have the authority to take action on behalf of a client after closing a sale? I know it's confusing, but let me explain it. After signing a contract or selling your product, you already got the sale, you already got your commission. The client contacts you because you're the only face they know and you're the only person they were communicating with. And they're saying, I have an issue with your product. I'm having an issue. It could be lead times, it could be shutdowns, it could be poor customer service, it could be anything. I asked, do you have the power to make it right for the customer in your company? 77% of my subjects answered no, which is concerning because we all, as young people, lose motivation as salespersons when a customer is not satisfied with the product bought from us. We need to believe it. Bad expectations set or poor hand. When a customer is not satisfied with the product bought from you, it's like unless you're really good at it, you lose motivation because you actually, in order to be great at sales, you need to believe what you're saying. You need to believe in your product, and you need to believe that you're actually bringing a solution to that client, so you're able to convince them. So when we experience this kind of negative feedback from our customers, we get a little bit discouraged. When I asked them what are their concerns regarding their department, they said the same: lack of authority, and that their companies and managers prioritize profit over customer service. When I asked the younger professionals, because I already had them there, okay? I'm trying to help out here and have an open line of communication, maybe like the mediator. I said, what challenges do you face with your manager? They said the same. They prioritize profit over customer service. They have mood swings or personality shifts. They mix personal life with work, meaning they bring the baggage of home to the office. And you can see like they said they can sense when their boss is in a bad mood. So it's really hard for them to communicate with them and approach them with a question or any issue they have. And as well, lack of availability and one-on-one time. And when I asked them, what is the one thing you wish your manager could improve? Give me just one answer. Most of them said the same thing: maintain an open line of communication, being able to talk about stuff. Just like, it's not like we're gonna bother them every single day, but just for them to seem more available to the general public. And since we are in a really negative tone, I would like to change to the senior professionals who are pretty positive about everything. I asked them, what is the one traditional sales approach that you would preserve? Give me one. All of them said exactly the same. They said it in different ways, but it went down to get in front of your customer. Stop being on your phone. Stop calling people. Stop texting your prospective customer. Just get in front of them. Knock on doors. Sit with them. Try to get a meeting. Try to get a coffee. Get in front of your customer. That will never get old. It doesn't matter how much technology we have. That will never get old. In order for us to succeed in sales, we need to get in front of our customers. They need to know who they're talking about. They need to get a sense of our personalities, of just like to be able to trust us. This is not everything about digitalization. There's some traditional sales methods that we need to maintain, and this is one of them. Yes, human to human interaction. Since I was already interviewing top salespeople, I had to ask, of course, so I can share with you, what are the top sales pieces of advice that you can share with the public? And I loved how most of them said exactly the same. I'm going to share them with you. First, embrace honesty and stay true to yourself. Second, make it a habit to return calls and emails promptly. Master your product knowledge, meaning know your product. This goes to the young generation. We know we're failing on that. Implement a structured sales approach. Understand your clients and their budget. Be confident and approachable. Stay updated with emerging technologies. Do not overpromise. do not take things personal, and focus on selling value, not just price. Now, my favorite question of all to all of my subjects was if they liked or loved the elevator industry. They all said yes. And after that answer, I asked, why do you love the elevator industry? And this is an interesting question because at the end, everyone was answering the same things. So it shows us that even if we have a lot of discordance, despite the different opinions in some topics, we are all in this together. And before showing you the answers, I would like you all to participate and in the chat, please let me know why do you love the elevator industry? Why do you love the elevator industry? Okay. The people, a new challenge every day. Thank you, Austin. A very unique, yes, it is definitely an industry that has its ups and downs, of course. The endless potential for personal and professional growth, yes. Building relationships, bottomless things to learn. Every project is different and I get to work with a wide range of people. Great. Yes, all of that. I am going to say the elevator conventions because I just love them. But yes, let's go right to it. They all said they do love the elevator industry and they love it because there's growth opportunity, unlimited options. You learn something every day and there's great people on it. It says, Eric says, what's happening here? Competitors, suppliers, colleagues can all come together for common good and causes. Cheryl says, I love the elevator industry because I have made so many relationships. Over the 40 years I've been in cabs and entrances. Great. Work, family, and customers, it's never boring. And there is enough for everyone. There is room for competitors to become friends. Yes, that's exactly what I put here. It's insane how competitors become so close. They become pretty close friends. And at the end of the day, they're always trying to support each other and help each other. I have a lot of competitors friends here in this call, and they're rooting for me, sending me a lot of messages, and just giving me the support I need. And to be honest, some people told me that this topic might be too controversial or conflictive, but I do not regret it at all. I am a risky person by nature, and I love to debate. So if any of you wants to fight me, I mean, this had way more sense when it was in person, but if any of you wants to fight me, here's my contact information. I love this industry. I love all of you, and thank you so much for listening.
Amelia, thank you. That was great. It was actually really hard for me to keep up with the chat. There were so many things coming in. I thought it was probably the most interactive event we've had to date, which is very exciting. While I'm looking for a few of the questions, you did a really good job of tying in and promoting the VTMP program with the NAEC, which, you know, I can say we use at our organization. It's an excellent program for what you were referring to. And as it relates to the generational gap question, you know, that you kind of started and most of your presentation was about, you know, the NAEC also has the next gen group within the NAEC. When I was part of the initial group that started that, and when we would go to out to drinks at conventions, there was like 20 of us. And this past year, there was almost 100 or something. I heard it was amazing to see. One of the questions was the data set that you used. You know, can you speak a little bit about that? Maybe how many people, a little bit of demographics.
I would love to say and mention all of the people that I interviewed that are here, but I promised them that it was going to be anonymous. But since this one is pretty risky, but Joe Maloney was one of my Joe Maloney was one of the people I interviewed. It was, to be honest, more vendors and contractors than consultants, because it was easier for me to find older consultants, and it was pretty hard to find younger ones. So on that area, I wanted to let you know that for the younger consultants, I'm pretty sorry. We are still not there to have to right there in the consultant industry, and it's understandable. We need a lot of years of experience to get there, but just for you all to know, we need more young people in the consultant side of it, because it was a struggle to find the younger side of it. For contractors and vendors, it was pretty balanced. I did interview a lot of people through Zoom and Teams meeting that were like all over the place in the States. That because of the NAEC, that helped me build all of these relationships with all of my friends that do not live in New York City, but we keep a constant communication. What is the age range for young consultants? The younger one was 32 years old, but 32 years old, and the oldest one was 42.
One of the questions we had from earlier in your presentation when you were discussing social media and the use of social media and marketing, question came in asking about ways in which you can measure ROI. And the question specifically was, are you able to measure ROI on social media and marketing?
I would say I am not a company owner. I try to what was the age range for the old people? Oh my God, Kathleen. I do it. I spoke about it more individually. For the company perspective, I did interview a lot of company owners that do an amazing job at social media. I will give a shout out because everyone knows this, but Champion Elevator does a great job at LinkedIn. And yes, there's a lot of leverage with that because they get everyone knows their name just by how much they post. Now, when I focus on social media and all of the information that I was asking to the younger people, I was trying for them to understand the individual perspective as well. We need to understand that our employees are our army. They're our little soldiers. And when people see a LinkedIn post from Amelia, they just don't see an individual. They see Amelia from Dynasty Elevator. So if you encourage your employees to post and to keep an active, an engaging LinkedIn, and engaging Instagram on the company, your name is going to be spread. It's going to be known. It's going to be out there. So try to encourage your younger professionals to actually come with creative ideas. And even if it's not on the company profile, they can do it themselves since they are representing you in a way. So I think there's a lot of return on investment on that. I do not have a way to measure it, but I do know that people knowing your name helps a lot at the times when you get a reference and people are like, yes, I know who they are. I've seen them around there.
Well, that might actually tie into the next question, because
Yes.
the next question is around recommendations for a CRM system that ties into the industry. And some folks kind of jumped in and answered that, but I can tell you that there definitely are ways to measure your ROI from social media marketing through a good CRM system. But do you have any recommendations for ones that you like for the industry?
I wouldn't like to do a recommendation in public and in a recorded call, but there's a lot of NAEC members that do offer this service, and you guys all should look this up.
Excellent. And I'm sorry, I am trying to catch up because there's so many things that have been coming in here as we've been chatting, just trying to look for, maybe the next question.
I would like to respond to Kathleen. The oldest person I interviewed, he's like 80, 88, 88, 89. You can continue.
Yeah, what I thought was interesting in your presentation, and I know it's controversial topic potentially, but the training slide, right? So all of the younger generation wants training, says they want it.
But they don't do it.
All of the companies say they're willing to pay for it, but somehow the connection isn't made.
Yes.
That was very interesting to me. I don't know if you have any additional thoughts on
Yes,
maybe how we bridge that gap.
I do. Everyone here knows that. That's why I'm saying this so comfortable. The elevator industry is pretty busy. We are all busy. It's nonstop. Elevators do not stop. We do not get 3 days. It's up and down, up and down. So it's pretty hard for you to focus on education when you have so many emergencies going on, so many clients requesting for stuff. We are all a little bit overworked. So somehow I do not blame the younger professionals because they just want to get home and relax. But at the same time, if we both get the interest from the younger professionals, but at the same time we get a little push from management, like, hey, this year you need to complete one program, so they see it as work as well, not like having to sacrifice their free time doing that, if that makes sense. And yes, that was a controversial answer.
No, I don't think so at all. I think it's great. And I think you had some amazing points throughout the presentation. I believe I have seen all of the direct questions. If I missed one, please have throw it up there. In the meantime, I do have a question about the cold calling issue, right?
Yes.
So there are different methodologies around cold calling between the two generations. It was kind of one of the first topics that you had mentioned. I would think that the younger generation, they still have ways of cold calling, but they're using technology and social media and things of that nature, as opposed to walking up and down the street, knocking on doors and handing out flyers. Would you kind of agree, or do you have any thoughts on that?
I feel like the next generation could do way better at cold calling. That's one of the it's a little bit concerning and confusing, because I am next generation, but at the same time I agree with a lot of traditional sales methods. I just, at the end, because I wouldn't like to be more controversial, it should be a blend of stuff, just a blend, like, because I know a LinkedIn message is not a cold call, but we have ways of reaching out to prospective customers, even if we do not like just picking up the phone. But there's a lot of ways of doing that to keep in touch, to build client relationships. I just feel like on that area, the next generation is a little lazy. And I say that with full responsibility.
Okay. I haven't seen any other questions come in. I'll just wait one more second just to see if anybody has anything else that they want to mention, or if there's any other questions for Amelia before we call to wrap the event. We do have a few more minutes, but we can certainly end early.
I said lazy but overworked. That seems like a contradiction. I understand that as well. I would say, yes, we are overworked. Yes, we are lazy. It's just about prioritizing. We are lacking on prioritizing what we need to know. Like we need to set our goals, and if it's sales goals, then we need to know that cold calling and knocking on doors has to be on the list. At the end of the day, we're all going to be a little overworked in the elevator industry, but prioritizing is the one thing that is going to save us. And we cannot neglect bringing new business to the company. So learning how to prioritize, I wish that was another presentation, but oh my God, we could talk about prioritizing a lot. There's a lot of people lacking on it, including myself. When there's so many emergencies, like in the elevator industry, it's pretty hard to set what's important and what we should prioritize, which client we should prioritize, which call, which product, which motor we should manufacture first. Everything, it's that has to be worked out. I would love to learn about it. So if anyone would, I would love to hear a presentation about prioritizing, because it will help me myself a lot. Okay.
Question just came in about how would you best decide what business development event it would be the best use of an individual's time, as there are so many events and avenues to
I know. So the best option is to research first and see who's going to be at that event. There's usually in the invitation, maybe there's like honorees, or who's going to be a special guest, or who's going to get an award, or which charity is going to be helped on that event. So you know who started the charity. Like, was it a property managers? What was it, a contractor? Was it a new developer? And you can tell if there's going to be connections there that are going to actually help you out on your business. At the same time, for me, that I'm just doing this in the elevator industry for 1 year, I would say talk to your boss, talk to the people who have already been there. And even with competitors, I get calls every day and texts from my friends. Do you think this event is worth it? Like, who goes there? Who goes there? And I'm like, oh, well, whatever, this event, it's usually a little bit of consultants, a lot of vendors, and a few general contractors. So they have an idea, like, should I go there or not? Like, on the contractor side, I call a friend, and is there a lot of property managers there? Is there going to be a lot of building owners? So oh yeah, I mean, I didn't get a lot of business out of that, so I just check it off my list. Okay. Wow, you were right, John. It's a lot of questions. I feel great about that, to be honest. I was not
Yeah,
expecting.
no, I have to tell you that the interaction at this event through the meeting chat's probably been, one of the best that we've ever had, and we were pushing 100 people for the entirety of the event. So this was great. I'd like to thank you for your time, for doing this presentation for us again. I know that you've done this once before. This is a virtual event, but I think this would have been another standing room only had we had we been doing it in person as opposed to virtual. I
Yes.
thought you had a lot of great content, really, really well done. So out of respect for everybody's time, want to make sure that we do end on time. We're a little early, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and call the end of the town hall event. I appreciate everyone that joined us today, especially Amelia, for sharing your time, energy, and your expertise with us today. Thanks to everyone for attending, and a reminder that this will be available for anyone who wasn't able to see it live and in person on the NAEC website and YouTube. It should be posted very shortly, so look for information on that. Thank you all.